Morning, peeps. I'm back. I'm going to do a quick wrap up because I've got to go to Wellington. I've got a plane to catch in a couple of hours, and so I've got to get a move on. I could do a video from a plane, couldn't I? I could do one from a wing. I could skydive out the plane, or I could storm the cabin and have a chat with the captain. But I won't do any of that. What I'll do instead is sit here, talk a load of bollocks for 10 minutes about why Munoz is a prick, why Sar's a prick, and Azra as a absolutely ridiculous. Right, so Newcastle, absolutely flying. If there's one team in the league at the moment that are flying, it's Newcastle. I do remember in game week 30 when we wildcarded, we all had a plan, didn't we? The plan was to have triple Newcastle and then take them out in game week 33 for double game week players, and get them back on our free hit in 34 and then no longer have them because they had bad fixtures after that. That's the kind of mindset we had, and it's very easy to, in FPL, to have a mindset and then you don't change that mindset. It comes embedded in your head, and I think we have to kind of forget about that now and think that maybe, just maybe, we should not be getting rid of those Newcastle players after all. Because Murphy is an absolutely fantastic once-in-a-lifetime form, isn't he? I mean, he's really, really stepped up. Bit like Clivett did, about 6 or 7 weeks ago. Absolutely fantastic. So, all these other clubs have got distractions. Palace are now on the beach. They've just got FA Cup. Newcastle haven't. They've got singular focus. Even Villa are distracted by the FA Cup. Whereas Newcastle, flying, absolutely flying. And if you triple captain Isaac, 11 points for a triple captain isn't bad. But when you look at the games and see how many points he could have had, you're naturally going to be disappointed, aren't you? But just think, if he hadn't scored, if that little Palace prick hadn't given away the ball and he'd got that goal, in a few minutes he would have been off and you would have only had 5 or 6 points. So you should be pretty happy with 11, I think. As for Henderson Munoz, when I played my wildcard, I did say I expected Henderson to outscore Munoz in the double because attacking returns would be hard to come by and at least Henderson gets save points. Well, they both turned out to be pretty useless, didn't they? But at least Henderson did outscore Munoz by 3 points. He did that at least. So, we've got to have a quick look. We're going to have a quick look at wrap up of the content creators here. Az top with 99. It goes all the way from Az at 99 down to me and Joe on 80. So there's less than 20 points between everybody. I think 8 people here out of 10 have used a chip. Az with 99, absolutely fantastic score by him. And that was really thanks to a 20-point bench boost. Bradley, Marmouche, 20 points. So very well done to Az. And Mark as well on 97. And I must say, it's going to be a great shame not to see these two together talking about their rivalry, isn't it now? Because look at their scores. They've both got the same overall rank. Look, how can this be possible? Az is on 185,370 and so is Mark. They can't both be on the same. One of them must be ahead of the other one. But that's pretty remarkable, isn't it? But we're not going to hear them talking about it now. Look at this. Mark had Pope. Saved him. He got 9, 10, 12 on his bench boost. Well, I didn't save him because he still would have had a good score anyway. But he went from like 82 to 97 thanks to Pope. Huge difference between Pope and the Palace goalkeeper, wasn't there? Huge. Then we got Bakar on 95, triple captained. So he got 11 extra points from playing a chip. So they'd have all had about the same points I've got if it wasn't for their chips. So, it's a chip week, really, isn't it, this week? All about chips. So, Who is it? Andy, 3, 5, 11 for Andy on his bench boost. No one stands out there. Munoz -1, of course. If Newcastle scored again, it would have been -2. Harry, 92, used his assistant manager on Howe. 23 points this week, so he's going to be very happy. I think he got 10 or 11 last week. So he's already up to 33 or whatever, and still has another double to go on that. I did think about playing it, rejected it. And that was before, of course, we knew how fantastic Newcastle were going to be. I mean, they have Man United, Palace, who had not been conceding away from home and must have conceded about 8 or 9 goals in in 2 matches, haven't they? And Newcastle has scored about 9. So absolutely crazy. So another Munoz owner. Matata, absolutely hopeless. You know, Palace didn't have a double. They'd be going pretty quick. Although there is still a possibility they do get in the FA Cup final. But the way they're playing, honestly. And with Villa being knocked out of the Champions League, they're going to be putting more emphasis on that FA Cup match than they possibly would have done otherwise. You know, they've got less to worry about now, having ever out of Europe. But for getting back in Europe, of course. Then we have Fabio, 89. His bench boost only got him 7 points, so that's the worst bench boost here, I think, 7 points. And nothing else special about his team. Everyone, same old, same old. And then we go to Wag, 86. Another one used a triple captain, so that'd be a green arrow. And interestingly enough, Wag only had 1 Palace player. Only had, 2. Matata and Henderson. No Palace midfielders or defenders. So she didn't feel the need to get a 3rd Palace player, and really turned out to be correct, although having one of Eze or Sa instead of Matata would have been better. But 86 is fine. Then Late Riser with 85. He didn't use a chip at all, like myself. He's done better than me. He's beat me by 5 points without using a chip. There's not a huge amount in it. We brought Bradley in. We're going to have to talk about Bradley in a moment, because I think we may as well do it now, because apparently Trent is back in training. So I suspect Bradley gets the Leicester game. I don't think Trent will miss everything. He is going to play some part in it. You know, he's obviously a big part of that team, and he's leaving. So he's not leaving in disgrace, really. So, I mean, he is going to be a part of the team. You know, it's when they play their game that they can win the league on. He's probably going to be involved in that. And the final game of the season, he'll probably play. Well, how many other games he plays, we don't know, do we? But it's put me off getting Bradley, I think. Then there's me on 80, and then poor old Joe, who used his bench boost, has still ended up coming last. But he actually didn't have a bad bench boost, funnily enough. He had 9, 11, 13 on his bench boost. And he had Pope. So Pope has really saved him here. But what he hasn't got, of course, is Murphy. He doesn't have Murphy. But, I mean, he's still done okay. Still done okay. And he does have a Villa player in place, Asensio, in place for next week. You know, so his bench boost is okay. A lot of people were complaining about their bench boost when they're halfway through. But, I mean, everyone's done all right. I think we only saw one bench boost that was under 10 points. Triple captainers have done all right with 11, and so have the assistant managers. And also, so have myself and Late Riser, who didn't use any chips. You know, because we've pretty much not lost any ground, even though we didn't play any chips, and which is good news for this week, because we go forward. And I just checked the... hang on, I'll just get my iPad out and check the Real Madrid game. Arsenal winning Martinelli. Marino 2 assists. And Saka has not got injured, and he looks like he's scored a goal. Martinelli scored a goal, and Marino's got 2 assists. And Marino just keeps on giving, doesn't he? Keeps on giving. Except it's not in the league. So, right, we're going to plan now. And have any of these events changed what I'm doing? I mean, I had looked at getting De Bruyne in for Parma and ignoring Saka. Saka has played the entire match tonight, but he has played well and he has scored. He did miss a penalty, so you never know. You know, he's missed a couple of penalties, hasn't he, in the last 6 months or so. So whether someone else has stepped up, we don't know. But at the moment, it looks like Saka's got penalties. He played the entire match and they've got Ipswich at the weekend. But when they had Palace, who were woeful and will be preparing for the FA Cup. Now, if you watch that game tonight, Palace were awful. Especially on the wings. So, clearly, I've got to get Saka in. Whether he plays against Ipswich or not, I think, I'm going to have it. Because we don't know. Even if he comes on against Ipswich, he could do damage. He's getting back up to speed. We know historically he nearly always plays. So he's definitely coming in. Whether I captain him or not is a different matter. I'll wait and see what everyone else is doing, I think, for captaincy. I will play it safe because I'm using my bench boost. And I will be playing it safe with captaincy. So I'll be going for the most popular decision, like I always do, in fact. I don't know if you saw that website that was the other day where you could check your captains against Salah. And I was actually okay. I think I broke even. You know, I pretty much hadn't taken too many risks with my captaincy and it had worked. So, where are we? What we've also learned is that Newcastle, like I said, nothing else to play for, absolutely fantastic. That original plan we had of taking out Newcastle players shouldn't be stuck in your head because I think really we want them. You know, I'll make an exception for Livramento because I do need to get somebody in, I think. But keeping Murphy now looks like a sensible thing to do. The way he's playing. And the fixtures aren't that bad. The fixtures are a lot better now than they looked in game week 30 because they've got Brighton, who we know are woeful at the moment, and they're at home to Chelsea, who are among their rivals for top 5 spot. So they're going to want to smash Chelsea. And I don't want to be without Murphy and Isaac because most people aren't going to get rid of them and they're going to still have them. And if they score big, then and you don't have them, that could spell trouble. So I will be keeping them. So Saka's definitely coming in. I was looking at taking out Gabriel and getting Bradley in. That was if I'd made a transfer yesterday, that is what I would have done. But the fact that Trent is back in training, Arsenal are doing very well. I mean, Kyrgios only led in 1 goal, or Arsenal have, against Real Madrid in 2 legs. Kyrgios, I've said it before, I'll say it again, they want to work on that partnership. You know, there's a possibility he is rested against Ipswich, you never know. But he will be back for Palace. He's not going to miss both, so I'm going to bring him in. Bradley has got short-term big upside, but after that, Liverpool's fixtures aren't great and he's a rotation risk, isn't he? So Kyrgios will come in. He can go into my starting lineup. Savinio, who we all thought was just left off in the last match. Apparently he was going to start that last game, but picked up a slight knock just before it. And that's why McAtee came in. But it's given me enough confidence to just keep Savinio, basically. So he can come in for Murphy. And that will be my bench boost now. Martinez, Murphy, Livramento, Wan-Bissaka. And I could just go with this team. I could just go with this team, couldn't I? And save a free transfer. Give me 2 transfers in game week 35 when we know who will have a double and who will have a blank and all that type of thing. So I could do that. Do I want to play Livramento against Villa away? Probably not. I mean, if I'm going to make a transfer, it would be Livramento. I'm not saying I'm going to do it, but if I do make one, then I think it would probably be Livramento to Consa. I mean, I don't expect much from Consa this week. You know, he could do a Munoz, couldn't he? He could get minus with these fixtures. You know, he could. Probably 2 points or 1 point he could get. You know, 1 point from each match, conceding 2 goals in both, and a booking as well. So maybe he might end up on 1 point or whatever. Possible. But the thing with Consa is he could be very useful going forward because, like I said, Villa are now going to put in more effort for that FA Cup game probably. Not that they would have not put effort in anyway. And Palace are just looking rubbish. So you'd think that Villa are going to be heavy favourites to knock Palace out of the FA Cup, which would mean Consa could well have a double. So it seems to be a bit prudent to put one in. If I didn't do that transfer, the other one would be something like Murphy to Rodgers, for example. But like I said, Murphy is absolutely on fire. I mean, there's nothing wrong with Rodgers either. Rodgers is obviously a very good pick and a popular pick. So I'm not ruling that out either. I mean, I could keep Livramento and replace Murphy with Rodgers. But, you know, it's not impossible that Murphy gets more points this week, is it? Not impossible. It's not impossible that Livramento does either. So I don't know. Maybe I should say, you know, I've just given reasons really why Consa isn't going to get points this week, but he might be useful in a future week, haven't I? That's what I've said. So maybe if he's not going to get points this week, then why bother getting him? You know what I mean? Why bother getting him this week? Better off having 2 transfers, probably. Because we don't know what's going to happen, do we? So maybe just save it. Maybe just save it. I really don't like the idea of taking Murphy out. I mean, originally, it looked a great option, didn't it? Just take out Murphy for Rodgers. That was like game week 30, no-brainer, future transfer plan. But when you consider what Murphy's done and how he's playing, I'm not sure that any longer applies. No longer it applies. I mean, he's probably still getting transfers in, isn't he? Should we go and have a look? Can we be bothered to go and have a look? No. Or we could have a look on this site, FPL. We'll have a look on this site. Prices. He's probably still coming in. Probably still being bought. He is. Let's have a look. Progress per hour. Crazy, isn't it? That they've had the double game week now, but it's still the Newcastle players that are being the most bought. Barnes and Murphy. It's a bit weird, isn't it, when you think about it? Especially Barnes, now that Gordon's back. But I suspect Barnes might stay in the team, although he probably, yeah, he probably will, won't he? Although he played the full 90 tonight. Then Marmouche, De Bruyne, Guardiola, Rodgers, Saliba, Aït-Nouri, Kovacic and Raya. So the Newcastle, obviously these are casuals, but they're still bringing them in. Got to wonder why they didn't do it last week, but still. What's this here? Top transfers today. Mamushin for Isaac. Yeah, if you haven't got Isaac, if you haven't got Mamouche already, I guess. Mamushin for Wood, Rodgers in for Clivert, Saka in for Clivert, anyone in for Clivert. People in for Palmer, Saka. More people bringing in Saka for Palmer than are bringing in De Bruyne for Palmer, but not too much in it. Now we've got all the information now, pretty much, haven't we? So is it time to do some early transfers? Because Palmer's dropping tonight, may change tonight. Murphy may rise. Foden could be dropping tonight. So is it time to start making transfers this week? Or is it better to wait? Is it better to wait? I'll tell you what, transfers haven't been... They haven't been going up as much as people think. There's been a lot of chips in play still. No, I'm not allowing ads. Looks like nobody's going up tonight. No, this reckons... Oh, yeah, he is. Palmer could well be going down tonight. Maybe tonight's the night to do that switch. Would have to confirm that there's nothing wrong with Saka. I haven't watched the end of that game. But anyway, peeps, that's about it. And I'm very happy with that week. Let's see if it's changed again. Every 5 minutes my rank changes. No, red locked in, very tiny red. So I think this week, if you hadn't played your bench boost yet, you should have a good week. You're going to be up against a few people playing their triple captains, I guess. But I think playing it on Isaac was probably better than playing it on Saka this week, simply because we don't know how many minutes he's going to get, do we? And we also don't know whether people are going to go Mamouche over Saka. You'd think Mamouche is going to get more minutes. Home to Villa and away at Everton. The trouble is that Villa game's the second one. So they'll both be equally rested, I guess. But that Everton game's not easy either. Everton are one team, but they haven't gone on the beach, have they? They've just kept going and playing really well. I don't know if they've got an outside chance of a Europa League spot or anything. Maybe they have. But yeah, that's about it. Anyway, peeps, I've got to go now. I've got to get ready to go to Wellington. I haven't even packed yet. I've got a lot to do. And like I said, I will be doing some kind of video from my phone while I'm up there. And next Tuesday or Wednesday, I can't remember which it is, I'm on Let's Have a Beers show. I think it's at the same time as one of these double game week matches next week. So I'll talk to you all later. I think FPL Tom's on there as well. And I'll talk to you all later. See you next week. And cheers for now then, peeps. And hope you had a good game week. And, you know, you probably did by the look of that. Because I was bottom of that Content Creator League. And even I got a grey arrow. So pretty much everybody got grey or green arrows. Nobody really got a red arrow this week. And even if you did and you didn't play a chip, I wouldn't worry about it, because if it's only 10 points off a green, it's just as much like a win, because you're going to have your fun in other weeks. And personally, I have only got now, game week 38 from now on is the only week when I'm not playing a chip. So think on, peeps. Anyway, I'll talk to you all later, and cheers for now. And like and subscribe, and as FPL Let's Have a Beer would say, help me get up to 1,500 subscribers this week. sorry mate, I'll talk to you later, all later anyway. Cheers for now.